The research station's biodome shimmered under artificial sunlight as Cassandra Way carefully tended to her collection of extraterrestrial plants. The transparent walls revealed the star-studded expanse of deep space beyond, a constant reminder of how far she'd come from her small apartment in Singapore. Her fingers danced across the luminescent leaves of a Proxima Centauri vine, its bioluminescent patterns responding to her touch. Specimen 247 showing increased responsiveness to bioelectric fields, she recorded into her log, watching as the plant's patterns shifted from cool blue to warm purple. 6 years of studying xenobotany had led her to this moment, heading her own research project on the frontier of human space. The biodome's entrance chimed, signaling an unexpected visitor. Dr. Wei, the station's AI announced, Ambassador Novix from the Crystalline Collective requests entry. Cassandra straightened her lab coat, heart racing slightly. The Crystalline Collective was rarely seen outside their own system. Permission granted. The door dissolved into light, and Cassandra's breath caught in her throat. Ambassador Novix entered like a cascade of living gems, their crystalline form refracting the biodome's light into countless rainbow patterns. Their body was vaguely humanoid but composed entirely of intricate geometric shapes that shifted and realigned with each movement. Dr. Wei, Novix's voice resonated like wind through crystal chimes, your reputation in xenobotany preceded you. I hope I'm not interrupting. Not at all, Cassandra managed, trying not to stare at how Novix's form seemed to flow like liquid crystal. I'm honored. Though I wasn't aware my work had reached the collective. Your research on bioelectric communication in alien flora is intriguing. Novix moved closer to the Proxima Centauri vine, their crystalline form emanating subtle frequencies that made the plant's patterns dance. We've observed similar phenomena in our own system. Cassandra watched in amazement as the vine responded to Novix's presence, its patterns synchronizing with the ambassador's crystalline frequencies. That's remarkable. The plant seems to recognize your bioelectric field. Perhaps, Novix's form shifted, creating complex geometric patterns that seem to pulse with inner light, or perhaps it recognizes a kindred spirit. We crystallines share more in common with your specimens than you might think. As they discussed theories of cross-species communication, Cassandra found herself drawn into Novix's orbital pull. The ambassador's insights were fascinating, but it was their presence that captivated her. The way light played through their form, the harmonic resonance of their voice, the elegant precision of their movements. Would you consider, Novix suggested, their form creating patterns that Cassandra somehow knew expressed genuine interest, a collaborative study? Your understanding of biological systems combined with our knowledge of crystalline structures could lead to unprecedented discoveries. I'd be delighted, Cassandra replied, realizing she meant it more personally than professionally. Though I should warn you, I can be quite passionate about my research. Good, Novix's form sparkled with what might have been amusement. Passion is something we crystallines understand very well. In the weeks following their first meeting, the biodome became a sanctuary of shared discovery. Cassandra found herself spending more time in the lab than ever before, though her focus had shifted from purely botanical research to understanding the fascinating being who now shared her space. Your cellular structure, Cassandra observed one evening, reviewing holographic scans of a crystalline sample Novix had willingly provided, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. The geometric patterns aren't just aesthetic, are they? Novix's form shimmered with pleasure, casting prismatic patterns across the lab's walls. They're a language of their own, they explained, moving closer to the hologram. Their crystalline body refracted the light in ways that made Cassandra's breath catch. Each configuration carries meaning, emotion, memory. Like the bioluminescent patterns in my plants, Cassandra mused, gesturing to the surrounding specimens. They communicate through light and frequency. Precisely. Novix's form shifted, creating a complex array of interlocking geometric shapes that seem to pulse with inner light. Though our communication can be more intimate. Would you like me to show you? Cassandra's heart raced at the suggestion. What did you have in mind? Give me your hand, Novik said, their voice carrying harmonics that made the nearby plants sway in response. As Cassandra extended her hand, Novik's crystalline form flowed around it, not quite touching but close enough that she could feel a tingling sensation along her skin. What you're feeling, Novik explained, their form creating patterns that somehow expressed both scientific interest and personal warmth, is the resonant frequency of my crystalline matrix interacting with your bioelectric field. The sensation was incredible, like touching starlight, if starlight could think and feel and respond to her presence. It's beautiful, Cassandra whispered, watching as patterns of light danced across her skin where Novik's field intersected with her own. For my people, this kind of resonance is how we share our deepest thoughts and feelings, Novik said, their voice carrying new harmonics that seemed to bypass Cassandra's ears and speak directly to her nervous system. Each frequency, each pattern, carries meaning beyond words. As if in response, the Proxima Centauri vine near them burst into a display of synchronized bioluminescence, its patterns matching the resonant frequency between them. Look, Cassandra breathed, it's responding to our combined field. Life finds ways to connect, Novik observed, their form creating patterns that seemed to mirror both the plants displaying Cassandra's quickening pulse. Even across the vast differences between species. The implications weren't lost on Cassandra. Every interaction with Novik challenged her understanding of not just alien biology, but of connection itself. The way their energy fields interacted, the harmonic resonance between them, it all felt like something out of a dream. In my culture, Cassandra found herself saying, there's a concept called chemistry, when two people naturally resonate with each other. She smiled, aware of how literal that metaphor had become. Though I don't think this is quite what they had in mind. Novik's form sparkled with what she now recognized as laughter. Perhaps your ancestors were more insightful than you give them credit for. After all, their field intensity increased slightly, sending pleasant tingles through Cassandra's nervous system. Chemistry is just atoms seeking resonant states. The evening stretched on, their conversation flowing from scientific theory to personal philosophy. Cassandra learned that crystallines experience time differently, perceiving it through the lens of frequency and resonance rather than linear progression. In turn, she shared human concepts of art, music, and dance, though Novik found it amusing that humans needed external instruments to create harmony. We are our own instruments, they demonstrated, their form creating complex harmonic patterns that filled the lab with otherworldly music. Every movement, every configuration, is part of the greater symphony. As Cassandra watched Novik's crystalline dance, she realized she was witnessing something few humans ever had, the intimate expression of a crystalline's inner self. The display was mesmerizing, patterns of light and energy weaving together in ways that spoke of beauty beyond human comprehension. Would you like to join the symphony? Novik asked, extending their field in invitation. I can modulate my frequencies to match your biological resonance. Cassandra knew this wasn't just about scientific curiosity anymore. This was an invitation to something deeper, more profound. Yes, she said, stepping forward into Novik's luminous embrace. Show me how to dance. The station's administrative council chamber buzzed with tension as Cassandra faced the panel of stern-faced officials. Director Thane, a man whose steel-gray hair matched his cold demeanor, shuffled through holographic reports with obvious disapproval. Dr. Wei, he began, his voice carrying the weight of authority, your recent research activities with Ambassador Novik have raised concerns. The energy signatures we're detecting from your lab are unprecedented. Cassandra maintained her composure, though her heart raced. The signatures are a natural result of our collaborative work. The resonance patterns we're studying are far more intense than any known xenobotanical research would require, interrupted Dr. Rhodes, the head of xenobiology. Her eyes narrowed. The frequencies match patterns typically associated with crystalline intimate communications. Heat rose to Cassandra's cheeks, but she stood her ground. Our research involves understanding how different species communicate through energy fields. The intensity is necessary for what, exactly? Thane leaned forward. Because from where we sit, it looks like you're engaging in unauthorized experimentation with alien consciousness integration. Before Cassandra could respond, the chamber's entrance dissolved into light. Noviks entered, their crystalline form radiating patterns that commanded attention. The council members shifted uncomfortably as the ambassador's presence filled the room with subtle harmonic frequencies. Fascinating, Noviks's voice resonated with multiple harmonics, how quickly humans move to restrict what they don't understand. Their form shifted into configurations that expressed both authority and amusement. Tell me, Director, does your concern stem from scientific caution or fear of evolution? Thane's jaw tightened. Ambassador, with all due respect, there are protocols. Indeed there are, Noviks interrupted, moving to stand beside Cassandra. Their fields naturally aligned, creating visible patterns of light between them. And as official representative of the Crystalline Collective, I can assure you that all protocols regarding interaction with your species are being observed. Cassandra felt Noviks's field embrace her, providing support through their resonant connection. The sensation was both comforting and thrilling, like being wrapped in a blanket of starlight. What we're discovering, Cassandra addressed the council with renewed confidence, goes beyond traditional xenobiology. We're finding ways for different species to truly understand each other, not just through words or actions, but through direct energetic communion. Communion? Dr. Rhodes raised an eyebrow. That's a rather intimate term for scientific research. Perhaps, Noviks's form created patterns that made several council members blink rapidly, because you insist on separating intimacy from understanding. In my culture, they are one and the same. The patterns flowing between Cassandra and Noviks intensified slightly, creating a subtle display that demonstrated their point. The council watched, transfixed, as the energy fields danced together in perfect harmony. What you're witnessing, Cassandra explained, is more than just pretty lights. It's a new form of communication, a bridge between species that could revolutionize interstellar relations. And if this bridge leads to unforeseen consequences? Thane challenged. If this level of integration has effects we can't predict? Noviks's laugh filled the chamber with crystalline music. Director, every significant discovery in human history came with unpredictable effects. Your species didn't achieve space travel by avoiding the unknown. The energy patterns between them shifted, becoming more complex, more beautiful. Several of the younger council members leaned forward, clearly fascinated despite their initial skepticism. Look at your own scientists, Noviks continued, gesturing to the captivated observers. Already their bioelectric fields respond to our harmony. The potential for understanding is written into your very cells. Cassandra felt it too, the way the room's energy had shifted from hostile to curious. Even Thane seemed less rigid, though concern still creased his brow. We're not asking for unrestricted access, Cassandra said softly. Just the chance to explore this connection under proper observation. What we're learning could change everything we thought we knew about interspecies communication. And perhaps, Noviks added, their form creating patterns that somehow expressed both wisdom and gentle challenge, what you think you know about love across the cosmos. The word hung in the air like a crystal chime. Cassandra's breath caught, not just at Noviks's bold declaration, but at the truth of it. What had started as scientific curiosity had grown into something profound, something that defied conventional categorization. The council chamber fell silent as the implications settled over them. In that moment, watching the light play between her own skin and Noviks's crystalline form, Cassandra realized they'd already crossed the line between research and revolution. The only question was whether humanity was ready to follow. The research station's observation deck offered a panoramic view of the nearby nebula, its swirling colors reflecting off Noviks's crystalline form in mesmerizing patterns. Cassandra sat beside them, watching as their combined energy fields created dancing lights that mimicked the cosmic display outside. Your species has such fascinating concepts of intimacy, Noviks mused, their form shifting to create intricate geometric patterns that pulsed in rhythm with Cassandra's heartbeat. All these careful boundaries between professional and personal, physical and emotional. Cassandra smiled, letting her fingers trace the air near Novix's surface, feeling the pleasant tingle of their energy field. And your people don't have such distinctions. We are beings of pure resonance. Novix's voice carried harmonics that made Cassandra's skin flutter with goosebumps. Every interaction is an exchange of energy, of frequency, of consciousness itself. The idea of separating different types of connection seems artificial. The nebula's light caught in Novix's crystalline structure, creating rainbow cascades that seemed to flow between them. Their energy fields intertwined more deeply, and Cassandra gasped as new sensations flooded her awareness. What you're feeling, Novix explained, their form becoming more luminous, is how my people share experiences. Each frequency carries memory, emotion, understanding. Through their resonant connection, Cassandra suddenly perceived flashes of Novix's world, crystal spires that sang with consciousness, beings of light and geometry dancing through quantum fields, the deep harmony of a society built on pure energy in shared resonance. It's beautiful, she whispered, overwhelmed by the intimacy of experiencing another's memories so directly. Like touching a star from the inside. Novix's form rippled with pleasure, creating patterns that expressed deep affection. You perceive more than most humans would. Your sensitivity to our frequencies is exceptional. Their fields merged more completely, and Cassandra felt herself floating in a sea of light and sensation. Every point where their energies touched sparked new understanding, new awareness of possibilities beyond physical form. The Council fears this, Cassandra said softly, watching as patterns of light danced across her skin where it near touched Novix's crystalline surface. They think we're crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. Perhaps, Novix's voice resonated through multiple harmonics, creating shivers of delight along Cassandra's nervous system. They fear how natural it feels. How right. When barriers between species dissolve, old certainties follow. Their energy fields pulsed together, creating displays of light that would have put the nebula to shame. Cassandra felt herself sinking deeper into the resonance, understanding Novix not through words or actions, but through pure harmonic communion. Your scientists speak of quantum entanglement, Novix continued, their form shifting to create patterns that matched the rhythm of Cassandra's breathing. How particles once connected remain linked across any distance. My people live in that entanglement, dancing in the space between matter and energy. Cassandra watched in wonder as her own bioelectric field began to create patterns that complemented Novix's, their energies weaving together in ways that transcended physical form. And now I'm learning to dance with you. Yes, Novix's joy expressed itself in cascades of light and frequency that made Cassandra's heart race. You're beginning to understand true resonance, how two beings can harmonize across the boundaries of form and species. Their connection deepened further, and Cassandra felt herself perceiving reality as Novix did, seeing the quantum dance of particles, feeling the music of atomic bonds, understanding love as a frequency that transcended physical form. I never imagined, she breathed, letting herself float in the sea of shared consciousness, that intimacy could be like this. So complete, so infinite. Novix's form created patterns that expressed both tenderness and passion. This is only the beginning. There are octaves of resonance we haven't explored, harmonies yet to be discovered. Their energy field embraced her more fully, sending waves of pleasant sensation through her entire being. If you're willing to continue the dance. Cassandra's answer was not in words but in the way her own energy field reached out to merge more deeply with Novix's, creating patterns of light and frequency that spoke of trust, desire, and the joy of boundaries transcended. Together, they began to compose a new symphony of connection, their harmonized fields painting the observation deck with displays of light that rivaled the nebula's glory. The biodome had transformed. Crystalline structures now grew alongside the alien flora, their resonant frequencies creating a symphony of light and energy that made the plants thrive like never before. Cassandra stood in the center of it all, her body humming with the harmonious frequencies she now shared with Novix. The results are extraordinary, she told the assembled council members, who watched in amazement as a Proxima Centauri vine wrapped itself around a crystal formation, its bioluminescent patterns synchronizing perfectly with the crystal's resonance. We've discovered that life across the universe speaks the same language, one of energy, frequency, and light. Novix's form flowed beside her, their combined fields creating displays that made the council members gasp. What you're witnessing, their harmonic voice filled the room, is more than just an advancement in xenobotany. It's proof that love itself is a universal frequency. Director Thane, who had once been their strongest opponent, stepped forward to examine a crystal-encrusted plant. Its growth rate had tripled since the integration of crystalline resonance technology. The implications for agriculture alone go far beyond simple cultivation, Cassandra finished, letting her field merge with Novix's to demonstrate. The nearby plants burst into synchronized patterns of light, growing visibly under their combined energy. We're not just growing plants, we're teaching different forms of life to harmonize, to share consciousness through resonant frequencies. The barriers between species, Novix added, their form creating patterns that expressed both scientific pride and personal joy, are more permeable than you imagined. Through resonance, we can achieve true communion, not just communication, but understanding. Dr. Rhodes, who had meticulously documented their research, displayed a hologram showing the exponential growth in both plant life and crystal formations. The symbiosis is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's as if love itself is a catalyst for evolution, Cassandra said softly, feeling Novix's field pulse with agreement. Our connection didn't just change us, it's changing everything around us. The evidence was undeniable. The biodome had become a paradise of hybrid life, where Earth plants merged with alien species in ways that should have been impossible. Crystal formations pulsed with biological rhythms, while plants generated geometric patterns that mimicked crystalline consciousness. We're requesting permission, Cassandra announced, her heart racing with excitement, to establish the first human crystalline symbiosis center. A place where both species can explore this new frontier together. Novix's form shifted into configurations of stunning beauty, their voice carrying harmonics of hope and passion. My people are prepared to share our full understanding of resonant technology. In return, we ask only that you approach this union with open hearts and minds. The council members exchanged looks, but the success of the Biodome project spoke louder than any lingering doubts. Director Thane stood, his formal demeanor softening as he watched a crystal formation respond to a child's laughter from the observation deck above. Permission granted, he said, then added with a hint of a smile, though I suspect you two would have found a way forward regardless of our decision. Cassandra felt Novix's joy through their resonant connection, their combined fields creating a display that made the entire biodome shimmer with celebratory light. Their personal relationship had opened doors not just between their species, but to new understanding of life itself. There will be challenges ahead, Novix acknowledged, their form flowing around Cassandra in a gesture of both protection and affection. Not everyone will understand what we're building here. Let them come and see for themselves, Cassandra replied, fearless in their shared resonance. Some things can only be understood through experience. As if in response, the hybrid garden around them burst into synchronized bioluminescence, crystal formations singing in harmony with the plant's energy patterns. Their love had created something entirely new, not just between them, but in the very fabric of life itself. Besides, she added, letting her consciousness merge more deeply with Novix's, we've already proven that the most beautiful things in the universe happen when boundaries dissolve. Their fields merged completely, creating a display that transformed the biodome into a cathedral of living light. In that moment, witnessed by humans and crystals alike, they demonstrated that love truly was the ultimate resonance, a force capable of harmonizing not just hearts, but entire species. The future stretched before them like an unexplored cosmos, full of possibilities that neither of their species had dreamed possible. Together, they had become more than just lovers or scientists. They were pioneers of a new way of being, where consciousness danced freely between forms, and love itself was the technology that would carry life to its next evolution.